You ever have a moment that splits your life clean in two before and after, like the crack of thunder you never saw coming? That's what happened to me the night I found myself sitting alone in that cold, echoing nursery, a screaming infant in my arms, and nothing in the world that could calm her except the one thing I never imagined I'd have to give. You know what I mean? One minute you're a maid in a billionaire's mansion, the next you're holding another woman's child, staring down at her tiny face, thinking, how did I get here? And what am I about to risk? The whole house felt haunted ever since Mrs. Collins died. Pneumonia, they said. It took her fast one day, she's alive, laughing in the sunlight, and the next, the whole world goes gray. The baby, Emma, was only 3 months old, still new to this big, noisy world, and now her mother's gone. Mr. Nathan Collins, the big man of the house, he buried himself in work, locked his grief away behind closed doors. But grief has a way of seeping into the cracks, especially for a little one. The staff whispered behind polished doors that Mr. Collins couldn't look at his daughter anymore, not really. And now, well, Emma was starving for more than just food. I'll never forget how she looked that night, her little fists balled up, face blotchy, her cries rasping like she was running out of strength. The nanny, always so collected, lost her cool and ran off. She hasn't eaten right since her mama died. I can't do this. And suddenly, it was just me and Emma. I tried everything, rocking, singing, the bottle over and over. Please, sweet girl, you have to eat. But she turned her face away, refusing, her tiny body shaking from the effort. It hit too close to home, if I'm being honest. 3 months earlier, I'd buried my own newborn son. The hospital, the endless condolences, the ache that never really goes away, yeah, that was me. My milk came in anyway, as if my body didn't understand the difference between hope and heartbreak. So when I held Emma, desperate and hungry, my heart cracked wide open all over again. I couldn't let another baby waste away, not when I knew I could help. You ever do something on pure instinct, not knowing if you'll regret it for the rest of your life? That was me, right then. I looked at Emma, then at the closed nursery door, and whispered, "Forgive me if this is wrong." With shaking hands, I unbuttoned my uniform, pulled her close. The second she latched on, something changed in both of us. Her crying eased, her whole body relaxed, and I felt this wave of relief and grief crashing together. "That's it, sweet girl," I murmured, tears slipping down my cheeks. "Eat. Stay alive. Your mama's gone, but I'm here." I was so focused on that tiny miracle, I didn't hear the footsteps. Suddenly, a shadow loomed in the doorway. Mr. Collins himself, looking sharper than a razor, eyes wide with shock. "What are you doing?" he demanded, voice low and dangerous. My mouth went dry. "Sir, two can explain." He stepped inside, tone rising. "I leave for one day, and I come home to find my maid breastfeeding my child." His words thundered through the room. I could have broken then, but something in me pushed back. She wasn't eating. She refused the bottle for hours. I didn't know what else to do. She needed milk. He shot back. "You think this is your place? To feed my daughter like she's yours?" For the first time in my life, I didn't shrink away. She was starving, I said, my voice stronger than I felt. There was a silence that stretched between us, heavy as lead. Emma, finally asleep, her little hand resting on my chest, didn't even stir. "Fire me if you want," I whispered. But she needed me. I half expected him to explode again, but instead, Mr. Collins took a deep breath, his eyes locked on Emma, something soft flickering in his gaze for just a moment. "You've been hiding this from me," he said quietly. "What?" My lips trembled. "Because you wouldn't understand. And because I lost my own baby 3 months ago." He froze, just stood there staring. "You what?" "I buried my son." I managed, barely more than a whisper. "And I still had milk. Your daughter wouldn't eat." I couldn't stand by and watch her suffer. There was nothing but the sound of the baby's breathing for a long, long time. Finally, he turned away. "Bring her to my office when she wakes up. We need to talk." And with that, he was gone, leaving me holding my breath, wondering if my life was about to collapse for the second time in 1 year. Let me back up a sec. Those hours waiting in his office felt like the slowest torture. I sat there, twisting the hem of my apron, Emma asleep against me, replaying his words in my head. Was I about to get fired? Arrested? Worse. When he finally came in, the tension in the room was so thick you could have cut it with a knife. He stood by the window, staring out, quiet for so long I almost forgot to breathe. You didn't ask me, he finally said, voice so calm it made me nervous. I didn't have time, I answered. She was starving. She wouldn't take the bottle. I panicked. He turned, his face unreadable. You panicked and decided to feed my child as if she were your own. I nodded, feeling tears burn behind my eyes. Sir, I know how it sounds. But after her mother died, she refused everyone. She needed comfort. Milk, warmth. I was the only one who could give her that. He looked at Emma, sleeping so peacefully now, then back at me. And what about you? He asked quietly. Did you think about what this would do to you? I almost laughed, but not in a funny way. I lost my son, I whispered. My body didn't understand he was gone. Every time I felt it, it was like losing him all over again. And then I saw your baby suffering, and I couldn't turn away. He didn't answer for the longest time, just stood there, staring, until I finally said, if you want me gone, I understand. But please, don't let her go hungry again. Another long pause. Then he spoke so softly I almost missed it. I thought I'd lost everything when my wife died. But seeing you with her, it's the first time Emma's looked whole again. I blinked in surprise. You're not angry? He shook his head. I was at first, but I see now I've been failing her, hiding in my work. You stepped in where I couldn't. He walked over and gently touched his daughter's hand. She's alive because of you, he murmured. All I could say was, I was only doing what any mother would do. He smiled just a little. That's just it. You gave her what she needed most, not just food, but love. Then, like he'd made up his mind, he said, I want you to stay. Not as a maid, as Emma's caregiver. Her second mother. I swear my heart skipped a beat. Sir, that's too much. I can't. You already have, he interrupted. And I trust you more than anyone. You should have seen the staff's faces when word got around. Some were shocked. Others just nodded like they'd known all along. Weeks passed. The house, once heavy with loss, felt lighter. Emma grew stronger, always in my arms or sleeping against my chest. Mister. Colin smiled, more sometimes even joined us on the patio, watching from the doorway. One afternoon, he said, You saved her. I looked down at Emma, then back at him. She saved me, too. I replied, and meant every word. For the first time since tragedy cracked my world apart, I felt like maybe there was hope for something new. Maybe this wasn't just about survival, but about starting again together in a house that finally felt like a home. But you tell me, is that how it should end? Is forgiveness enough to start over? Or are some lines just too complicated to ever cross without consequence? Now, I want to hear from you as what I did right or wrong. Would you have made the same choice? Drop your thoughts below. Share your own stories of hope or heartbreak. And let's talk about what justice, family, and community mean to you. If this story moved you, give it a like, subscribe for more real dramatic tales, and, as always, stay curious, stay kind, and keep the conversation going.